Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Weekly Comics number 5. It's great to be back with you. I hope everybody's having a great night. I am big time excited to bring this to you tonight. I forgot to turn on 2 of my lights, so we're going to kind of turn that on so I don't look like a creep in the shadows. We've got our First Order hoodie thing on tonight, and thank you for being here. As always, Sean from Extra Star Wars here, covering a variety of different topics from tech to gaming, Star Wars, and Lego. We've been doing a lot of Star Wars comics, filling the gap between Kenobi and the Book of Boba Fett, right? So, our music tonight provided, as always, by backingtrack.gg. Make sure you go check them out for some content, copyright-free music that you can use for all your videos, and you can hear some of that sample right here. Little synth rock. It's always nice to play in the background as well, just to fill in some dead air. I know we have a lot of Red 5 content happening tonight, and if you chose to be here, I appreciate that. We have lots of things happening over at the Red 5 Network. Make sure you check out bio.link/Red5, Red 5 and all that good stuff. So you are watching this on YouTube, which is being broadcasted through StreamYard, which is being virtually broadcasted through OBS, and that's 3 different types of broadcast. But it's okay, because I like to use StreamYard to highlight some of your questions and comments as we go through our comic adventure. We're not going to have any side stories tonight. We're just going to go right into our main content. I was looking at what comics I have left, and we have IDW 6 through 10, which ends basically an arc, and then 11, 12, and 13 just came out, so I'm going to say that's an incomplete story. So we're going to actually jump from High Republic and move on to another arc of the High Republic, either Monster at Temple Peak or the Trial of Shadows. So we'll see where everything's going with that pretty soon. David has shown up in his black and white glory. Thank you for the scary selfie. Appreciate you being here, big guy. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be quick. And after this, we are going to jump into Mario Kart Land for a few races here to see if the new DLC has dropped. So that's going to be pretty exciting as well. So make sure you follow me over at twitch.tv/extratechie, because we are gluttons for punishment, and we just love to do it. That was years ago. Update it then, buddy boy. No problem. So, without further ado, let me just get this guy going right here. Let's get into it now. Welcome to Extra Star Wars. Over the next 100 days, and before the Kenobi series debuts, Extra Star Wars is going to tackle the comics. The comics are a hard medium to keep up on, as they're constantly in motion, crossing over between storylines and branching off into a multiverse of madness. Journey with me as we learn some of the details you'll never see on any screen, learn some ridiculous Easter eggs, and help me understand more of this Star Wars galaxy. Extra Star Wars presents Weekly Comics. Yes. And here we are back in our heavily high-produced content that is being cut off by a ticker at the bottom. But I just wanted to show you a document camera. This is what we've been using a lot to demonstrate the comics. So it does a great job at allowing me to do that. So we are covering IDW High Republic Adventures 6 through 10. It'll take us just a few mere moments to get us through that. I'm going to get my notes up. What I do is I read the stories, and then I write down some notes, some cliff notes. We talk about some of this stuff. And then if you have anything to add on, we'll go over some of your comments. So that's really the goal here. So I then will eventually chop this video up and put them out as individual videos over on YouTube. So if you haven't checked that out just yet, I've been debuting one video per day at 8 in the morning. The regular High Republic, I think number 12 is going to drop tomorrow. And there's 15 in total for that series. So you can definitely subscribe to the channel so you get those notifications when it goes live. And then as we get closer, this is Weekly Comics number 5, and I think I've estimated that there will be 13 weeks of this, so we still have a lot of content to cover, not just High Republic, but we are coming to the end of the High Republic content. I would say that we are 3 weeks, including this week, 5, 6, and 7 will all be about the High Republic. So, IDW series. Again, aimed at a little bit of a younger audience, but we've got some good stuff going on in here. So here we go, a little preview for you. We've got 6. We've got 7. We've got 8. We've got 9. We've got 10. And who's really prevalent on each one of these covers? But Quart, Q-O-R-T himself. He's basically on each one of the covers. So I bet you we can guess who this arc is going to be about. So I like to make sure everybody is ready. Everybody's sitting up straight in our chairs. Let's bring the microphone over just a little bit so we can get into our comfy zone right over here. And let's get started right now. IDW number 6. Interesting. Number 6. All right, let's line up our camera here. See what we're doing. Come to here. Oh, yeah. Look at it. Still nice and crispy, leaving it very good. All right, this is called Mission to Bilbosa Part 1. The Nile are temporarily subdued, but a Padawan's work is never done. Farzala and Court join the crew of the vessel and travel to the Nal Hutta for peace negotiations. But they must put their Jedi training to the test to preserve the peace and appease the Hutts. So part 1 ended. We're not really sure what happened with Crix. Azine is now with the Jedi. Crix is with the Nihil. We move on. So it starts off, and let me just say that the vessel is a ship that was mentioned in a book called Into the Dark. So my eyes got lit up when I heard that the vessel was going to be in this particular arc here. So that's pretty cool. All right, so we got a little bit of a sun glare here. Is it this one? It is that one. Let me just move that out of the way there. That way we don't get a little light bulb glare there. We start off with Master Talbota, who is an ancient Jedi Knight who the Padawans read that he once pulled cruisers out of the sky like Star Killer. And like what most people want Kenobi to do in his series, which is not going to happen. So it starts us off on the vessel. Here's the timing of the story. The timing is always important to put us where we are in the High Republic. They've been fighting the Nihil, but that's over for now. They've been fighting the Drengir with Master Obratuk, who's taking a snoozer right here. And they're on their way to Hutt space. We have Leo, Affy, and Geode, who's like a rock Venetian sort of thing. So they explain what's going on. One thing that I noticed about the vessel is that it looks eerily like a Star Destroyer. Okay, so they're sort of chatting it up. It looks very much like a Star Destroyer, and for whatever reason in my head when I was reading Into the Dark, I did not have triangle shape in my brain, so it's always nice to see a little bit of a visual reference. It's helpful for sure. So Master Obertuck is sleeping for some reason, and it's up to the Padawans to negotiate with the Hutts. Farzala and Leo. Farzala is this dude, and Leo is that dude. And they're sent to negotiate. They meet this very interesting character, Ishner, who's the lead muscle of the Hutts at this time. They have to hand over their weapons, which is kind of standard for meeting with a Hutt. And then what's interesting about this moment is that Quart kind of speaks this very strange language from the beginning. This is a mask, and they sort of talk with Geode. They have a little moment, and then click thunk happens, and it's red. That tells me something bad is going on. On planet now, Skarbada the Hutt, who's the brother to Miarga. And if you remember or you have watched the High Republic series that I put out, Miarga worked with the Jedi to basically battle the Drengir, the evil Drengir, plant-like sentient creatures. So there's a nice little crossover connection there. Uh-oh, the vessel arms their weapons, and they're about to fire down on everybody. Let's just pause for a moment and check out this galactic data file of the Drengir attack. So we know that they started on the Amaxine station. Here's Mierga and the Rancors and the Jedi that fought the Drengir in the High Republic series. Here are the little icon thingamajiggies that kept the Drengir in a stasis state. And then eventually they destroyed the great progenitor or progenitor, I don't know what to say. And they defeated the Drengir once and for all. Thum. Everyone scatters. More red here. What's going on there? Oh boy, this is a hungry hippo Rancor. Now back on the vessel, it seems like this was a setup to fire onto the Hutts, and then out of nowhere, Geode, who's a Venetian rock that we don't know if he talks or we don't know whatever, they're making him to be a very complex character, even though he's a rock, appears in the cockpit, and this guy's very surprised. Gah! He's very surprised by that. Back on the planet, Farzala and Leo are trying to escape and they're sort of jumping through windows. They're trying to figure it out, and oh no, there's Drengier on this planet. Son of a gun, they are still alive. Oh, that's annoying. So Farzala saves Ishnar, and she's like, "Why would you do that?" And he's like, "I'm a Jedi. This is what we do. So don't try to kill us again or capture us." He sends Farzala and Leo away while he investigates what's going on. There's the vessel again. Kind of looks like a mini Star Destroyer. Pretty cool. Whilst on the vessel and whilst Ishnar is investigating, they announce that, Ishnar sort of communicates that they will find them, the people on board, Affy and Court and Geode, because Jabba the Hutt wants them dead. Boom. So again, Farzala was sort of questioning why they were doing these sort of things, and he had some little life lessons and whatever. So our Padawans are in a little bit of danger. There's a little bit of double crossing going on with the Hutts, and that ends our number 6. And Jabba the Hutt is brought up, which is super interesting because it's 200 years before the Phantom Menace, and many more years before Return of the Jedi. So Jabba the Hutt's been around for a hot second. Number 7. Take a look at the cover. They're hiding. Red up here. Nice little blue down here. Pretty interesting. Let's keep going. Things go from bad to worse for Court, Farzala, and the crew of the vessel on their secret diplomatic mission as vicious saboteurs attack and dangerous creatures emerge from the darkness. Farzala must face his deepest fears in order to save the day. Mission to Bilbolsa, number 2, part 2. Scroll. Another flashback of Master Talbota. But it fast forwards to a dungeon, and that's where Farzala is locked up because Ishnar locked up Farzala and Leo. Farzala feels alone and afraid because many Jedi have gone either missing or they're dead. Yoda's missing. Jorah Malley is dead from Light of the Jedi. Spoiler alert. Not sure who that is. Loden Greatstorm is presumed dead but missing at this time. Very sad moments for him. So then Farzala sort of has these flashback moments with his master Obratuk, who's the same dude that's been sleeping on the vessel despite it being people on it, and not, I guess they don't notice that he's sleeping on it, but whatever, we're going to let that go. It's Comic Land, so who cares? The lesson in the first flashback is that fear is not the enemy. It then jumps back to the vessel, back to the saboteurs. Jabba does not want the Republic to help Skarbata. He's trying to make a political move. Affy and Court continue to hide. We go back in time. The lesson here is we must learn of fear, the concept of fear, to overcome it. We go back to the now. Farzala reaches out with the Force. Affy sets a distraction and bonks him on the head. Bonk. Smashes his teeth out of the face here. Not good. Then Arbitok is thousands of years old and has had many Padawans. It's very cosmic. It's very interesting. And this sort of helps Farzala come up with the strength to clash the cages and ultimately escape the dungeon. Meanwhile, galactic data file. We have the Hutts. We have Nalhata, Narshada, Hutt ships. Planets of Hutt space, Skarbata, Jabba, and Gracchus. So Jabba is trying to make a play on Skarbata, and Skarbata's not having it right now, or they actually don't know what's happening just yet, so we'll get to that. So the Hutt history on the galactic data file I thought was pretty nifty. Story, back to the story. On the vessel, Court bests his man. Gotcha. Affy sneaks up on another. Gotcha. The robot assassin droid sneaks up on Affy. Oops. Gotcha. Geode starts moving the ship. And we flash back to the dungeons. Farzal and Leo escape on the back of some slimy octopus-type creature, I guess. Farzala saves Ishnar once again and takes the saber back like, yoink, you can't have it, it's mine, don't take it again. Back to the vessel and take a look at Obratuk, who awakes from his slumber and has many different lightsabers and 5 of his tentacles, and these lightsabers are pretty cool because they represent different Padawans he's had through the centuries that he's been alive, which is really, really interesting for sure. I just like the way some of these look, if we get into a little bit of analysis on these lightsabers. Check this out. Look at that dude. That's cool. How about this one? That's fun. Right, a lot of cool designs here. That's what I really like about the High Republic, is just the interesting design elements that we can get from it. On the planet, the scheme is up and Jabba is outed, and the final lesson is that a true Jedi is never alone, and there is no reason to fear. Boom. And that ends number 7. Number 7. So that's good stuff. So, saboteurs are caught. Farzala and Leo escape. Obratuk wakes up from his sleepy time nap. And life is good. Let's check out some of our comments. What's up, Lizard? We are doing well. Imagine you train to kill Jedi and some octopus man with 6 lightsabers pulls up. For sure. Yeah, what is really interesting about Obratuk is that he's centuries old. And in a comic coming up, we're going to see a little bit of some history lessons here. So that's going to be cool. So let's keep on going. Number 8, it looks like the gang's all back. So in the previous story, part 1 and part 2 of that story, it was about Farzala Court and people on the vessel. Now we sort of move on from that story. And the art style completely changes as well. So the illustrators, I think, are different here. Alder, Bruno, and Nalty. This is Aldar, Talabo, and Nalty. So I guess Bruno... You know, we don't talk about Bruno, but I actually like the art style in the next few. So let's take a look. Here we go. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Adventures number 8, back together and away again. Back together and safe on Starlight, Lula, Zine, Farzala, and Court recover from their adventures on the Junk Moon. That was from the previous arc. And now Hutta, what we just read. But a new challenge awaits them in the form of an old friend. Meanwhile, Marchion Ro encourages Crix's violent obsessions, leading to an attack on none other than Takodana. Anybody remember where Takodana's from? Anybody? Anybody in the back? Comment if you do. Here we go. So the gang's back together, but Marchion Ro still has his influence on Crix, and apparently months have passed in this story. So we're on Starlight Beacon. This is after the Battle of Valo, which puts it after the Rising Storm. So we've got a lot of things that have happened in between these arcs. So we are just fast forwarding to post-Valo sort of stuff. Introducing Ram Jamaram, who's a tech whiz. First introduced in the book Race to Crash Point Tower, which takes place before the Battle of Valo. That was a good book. I enjoyed it for a young person, but it was cool. Also, Ishnar from the previous arc, surprisingly, is here, which is cool. They all welcome each other. Check this out. They're all hugging and things like. They're like, "Hey, welcome! Oh, it's so great to see you." But Zine, our pink-haired friend here, is still thinking about Crix. About Crix for sure. Now we transform to the Gaze Electric, which is the Nile base ship. We've got Marchion Ro, we've got Crix right here, just for your reference. Crix decides to attack Takodana, and the lone old Jedi that lives there. Now, some of you might be thinking, Maz Kanata? Oh, just wait. One of his storm objects to this Takodana attack, and he calls them a coward. Okay. Boom. Right, so one of the storm. Bang. There's a little bit... Skip the line. There's a little bit of a fun comical... they're sort of showing a little bit of comedy here by saying that you can't cook because you burned water before. And he's like, what? I haven't burned water before. So again, it's a little bit of comedy in here. It's not really doing anything to move the story along, but it's just showing that they are great friends. Crix wants to destroy, meanwhile, all the Jedi, but has to prove himself to Ro. And in order to prove himself to Ro, I misspoke. Crix decides to attack Takodana and one of the old Jedi there. We then transform to the Jedi Temple, and this old Jedi is just making tea, enjoying life in the morning time in Ayuna, which I guess is more something like this. Yeah, I would say that's the appropriate word for that. Invasion alarm. Oh, bother. And we flip. Jedi Temple. Takodana. So we are familiar with Maz's castle, but the Jedi Temple is on the other side of the lake, and let's check this out. Galactic data file of Takodana. We're familiar with this from Episode 7, The Force Awakens, but we never really noticed that there was a Jedi Temple conveniently across the lake, huh? Guess we'll have to see what happens to this Jedi Temple in just a few moments. So back to Starlight Beacon, the Padawans engage in questions to Masters Katam and Buckets of Blood, and they're all sort of good questions like, what happened to Master Greatstorm? Did he really get turned to dust, aka husked? Is Master Yoda okay? Who's looking for Master Yoda? Can we go look for Master Yoda? Any news from Valo? Do the Nile have secret weapon that can turn Jedi to dust? How do you burn water? Again, referencing that comical joke from before. So, again, they're Padawans, they're kids, they have all these questions, but these two masters weren't quite ready for that. But they do answer them a little bit. So, Yoda told them not to follow him. Yeah, I'm sorry. They're all sort of good questions. Back to the Jedi Temple. This Master Jedi, his name is Sav, is tearing through the Nile, jumping from ship to ship, slicing down every single thing in its path. Very nice double-bladed purple lightsabers here. And Crix is absolutely blown away. But how? But how? What do you mean, how? She's a Jedi. What are you talking about? Like, remember, he's the one that has no belief in the Force at all. He's a super weird dude, and he's just confused. It's no big deal. Back to Starlight Beacon, they do answer some of the questions. Yoda told them not to follow him. They do confirm that Loden is dead. They have intel on people operating outside of the normal Tempest Runner rules. It's Crix's group. Zine's like, oh damn, that's my friend that I used to be friends with, but now I'm not friends with. But Zine is sort of content with her decision to be a better person. And then they all end up heading to Takodana to help Sav out anyway. So here we go. Jedi Temple. Maz is sending reinforcements. And there's a Watto creature sighting, so that's really lots of fun right there. I don't know this person's name. I think the name is... Let's see. I don't catch it right now. I didn't write it down. No big deal. Moving on to Dal Harhide. I guess this is some sort of ship in orbit. Crix is super duper mad. He orders all the Nile to Takodana immediately for their second assault. And that is how this comic ends. Today we destroy the Jedi Temple on Takodana, and we do it using Force. It's number 8 of the High Republic. And welcome on in, everybody. Let's see. Here we go. Yes. Takodana. Takodana? I don't know how to say it. We don't talk about Bruno. Encanto is awesome. Yeah, Buddy Sheev Palpatine in the house. What's going on? Lizard Wizard could go for some tea right now. Wait, you can burn water? I guess you can. That's why it's like an interesting running joke. And yes, the friend that I was friends with that I'm not friends with anymore, indeed, for sure. Listen, this is, we got 2 left here, friends. We've got 2 left to cover tonight on Weekly Comics number 5. I can't see the rest of these comments. That is okay. Let's pop this down. All right, so we've got a Nile attack impending, pending onto Takodana. What is Maz going to do? Number 9, back together and away again. Number 2, the Padawans are off on another mission, this time to Takodana to assist the lone Jedi defending the local Jedi temple against the ever-growing threat of the Nile, but Court has trouble focusing when he comes face to face with his own past amidst new dangers and old allies. Okay, here we go. Scroll. Takodana. It's so beautiful. Anyway, so Court is troubled because what's interesting is that Court used to live there. Maz is hanging out. She's cooking some tea. She's cleaning up. Wait a second. There's a knock on the door, a la Hagrid style. Hey, listen, we've got this kid. We don't really want him. There's reasons why. Look how cute that little guy is. And now we go back to the present. The Padawans arrive and Maz embraces Court and Sav embraces Court. And everybody's super happy to see them. The Masters go off to check out the perimeter. They come across these 2 characters here called Bareen and Sabata, who are Krill's sisters who have allegedly defected from the Nile. Although Sav's like, yeah, sure you've defected from the Nile. We're going to keep an eye on you because I don't really trust you. No big deal. She's real skeptical about it. We go back in time. Maz is like, hey, robot from The Force Awakens that's red and no longer yellow, can you take care of this baby? And the baby's like, yeah, let me just handle you real quick. Smash, crunch, crimp. So apparently this baby is super duper strong here. Mini quarters of terror. Now we come back to the Nile. Zine is watchful of the Nile. She's like, hey, I'm watching you. You better be careful because I don't trust you either. Maz and the Master Jedi remember, this is very interesting, the Battle of Jeddah more than a century ago. So again, nice little connection to Rogue One there, which I love. So they sort of chit-chat. They sort of get some ordnance here and get some weapons ready for the Nile attack. We have a galactic data file on Maz's castle, and it shows us little details like a hyperwave transceiver, Maz's library and private museum, her quarters, private casinos, and then the Jedi Temple, which is something that we aren't too familiar with, right? We've got communications tower, kitchen and dining area, and the Jedi training area with the living quarters. So again, that's on the opposite side of the lake that we never got to experience in The Force Awakens. We go back in time. Maz is looking for the little guy, and he ends up finding a mask right in the basement, sort of the same storage area that Rey found the lightsaber. So that's, again, a nice little callback, future callback to the sequel trilogy, which is always cool. Now the probe, this little probe droid, click, blip, 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 blip. I'm gonna put it under this cover, beep, and scampers away. So there's a thermal detonator set. This feels like a trap. Ships approach, and this Watto creature is hilarious. His name is Madoob, and he goes, "What am I looking at? Tell me I'm looking like a baby Toydarian that doesn't know his blips from his blops from his Makubas." I love the way he talks. "Well, I can see that. Okay, not a baby, a young small Toydarian who is just beginning to learn the meaning of things. Why did you call me here?" Anywho's. Back in time, and then this is a little bit of a history lesson. We learn a little bit about why Court, who by the way is now super duper calm after getting the mask, and we find out why. His people are survivors. They live on this like land of crabs. They're called the Zav Aloks. And more or less, they send their young people out to battle a crab, like a gigantic crab, and they either die or they survive. And most of them take a mask to show that they have completed that ritual or trial. And then at the same time, they also notice that he has the Force abilities, and they end up calling Sav. Okay, back to now. Sav attacks Sabata, who was watching. Hey, I see you. Schlunk. They talk about her hat. Actually, this is an interesting question, right? Lula says, can I ask you a silly question? Sure. I was wondering, when we join the Jedi Order, we leave behind all the trappings of our families, our lives, our world. I was in an orphanage, so I don't have a family. You're wondering why I keep this hat. So this is, I guess, sort of a cultural thing, but she's like, listen, I like the hat. Don't have to really give up the hat, and it's great as a weapon, and she throws the hat and trips up the person here, so that's pretty cool. So the Nile attacks, she detonates the bomb, blip, blip, beep, smash Cthulhu, and the Jedi Temple is sort of starting to crumble down. That Court, Sav, anybody who's at that Jedi Temple was caught in the blast. Oh boy, caught in the blast. And in our, as we prep for number 10, okay, we get a little bit of the backstory of Court. He grew up on Takodana. He was dropped off there as a baby, sort of a nightmare. He finds the mask in the storage area. They go into the meaning of that. He grows up a Force user. Sav sort of takes him under her wing. And we go back to the future. Back to the future? Yeah. I guess back to the present. And the Nile strike the temple with a hidden thermal detonator. Very, very scary. Take a look at our cover. Uh-oh. That's a broken mask. I wonder what's going to happen. Anybody want to foreshadow? Number 10. Chaos on Takodana. After the Nile have attacked the Jedi Temple, the Padawans must face them once again. Overwhelmed and outnumbered, the heroes are backed into a corner. This is Back Together and Away, Part 3. Here we go. Then, Jedi Temple, then. Okay, back in time. Sav trains Court. Do you want to take your helmet off or leave it on? And she goes, very well, only you will know when you're ready. And then Maz comes in and says, Sav, Yoda's here. And we got some cool dialogue. Thanks for coming, Master Yoda. You know I'm no good with kids. You keep saying that you do. Evidence suggests otherwise, though. And she's like, yeah. Listen, kiddo, be nice to Master Yoda, even when he tries your nerves like he loves to try mine. I know a thing or two about fancy headgear myself, so I told him to let you keep your skull helmet on. Don't let anyone make fun of it for you, or make fun of you for it. But also don't dismember them if they do, because again, he's super strong. When it's time, when you're ready, you will know that's all that matters, and they hug. This is what I love about the High Republic. In the OT and the PT and the ST, they're literally taught that they can't have attachments. They're not allowed to love. They fall in love anyway. It causes war. It's conflict. It's climax. It's whatever. This is a nice little Jedi embrace here. They know that they are close. They know that they have to move this young Padawan apprentice along. But that doesn't mean that they don't have feelings for each other. Present time. The temple is destroyed. Court's helmet. Look at this. I love this little POV version. Oh, there's the helmet. Picks it up. Tries to put it on his face. Tries to look and see. Ships are bearing down on the Jedi Temple. Again, point of view. He's looking through the helmet. He takes one look at this Nile ship, and he decides, again, point of view, look at it through the eyelid, right? He decides that it's time. When you're ready, you will know. He throws down his helmet, flips his lightsaber, catches it. That's all that matters. I am. Ignites the lightsaber, ready. This dude can speak English, or basic, I guess. He can speak basic. What's going on here? He's been speaking gibberish for all this time. Now I can speak basic. And Court goes off on a tirade. He is slicing and dicing through every single ship. He eventually takes over a ship and is just jumping from ship to ship, taking care of business. Sav, kid takes after the weird, force-sensitive old lady that found him. Which one? Both, and they laugh. We're all right, Bims. What's the situation at my castle? No, fighters are retreating. We'll send. Hang on anyway. So Court's taking care of business. Maz and Sav are not concerned at all. The other Padawans are helping clean up the mess. You Jedi are so maddening sometimes, I swear. Court jumps off the ship, lands, looks up, and all his friends are like, your face, Court, your, hi, my friends. And they all hug and embrace him. Isn't that nice? I find this to be so nice. So nice. Meanwhile, Crix, Sabata, I think. Hey, I laid that trap for you. Please take me back in. Sabata and Crix make an alliance to destroy the Republic and their Jedi dogs. And that is how this story ends. Whew. So Court is unmasked, and he's a pretty powerful Jedi. I would am glad to have him on our side, which is good. Now, I did preview number 11, and it does start a new arc, so we are not going to read that tonight. Okay. We got number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10. Again, once again, I think... Oh, Liz Wizard, yes. The Krill sisters are sus for sure. Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. Totes agree. I am enjoying the High Republic Adventures. I'm going to continue to buy them. I know 13 was just out last Wednesday. I have to go to the store to see if he has it. I gave up my copy of 13 because I thought I had it, but I ended up having 12. It's not a big deal. Detail work. But we're not going to continue with this adventure. This is a closing of a story, and I think that's good, so I don't want to continue with it, and then I don't want to just read 11 and 12 and then not know what happens next. So we're going to move on next week into a different series of comics. Both of these series of comics are either 4 or 5 issues in length, so next week we're going to do what's called the Trial of Shadows, and then the week after that we're going to do... it's called the Monster at the Temple of Monster Peak or something like that, which will again follow some of the characters we meet in the books and sort of things like that. Actually, I don't really know what Trial of Shadows is about, so that'll be brand new for me, and I'm looking forward to bringing that to you. So this thus completes in our weekly comics number 5. Just some commercials as always. Extra Star Wars is part of the Red 5 network. And you can find us at bio.link/red5. And that is tickering across right now. So if you want to check out a lot of different content, not just Star Wars, but Star Wars and beyond, go check out bio.link/red5 and just start clicking around and check out different shows and check out different YouTube stuff. We actually had a show that was going on at 9:30. War of the Stars that was happening at the same time. So follow the Red 5 Network Twitter handle, which will put out lots of information throughout the week to direct you into who is doing what and at what time. Not every show is active at the same time, so you have to just keep on coming back, and I think that's the most important part about it. So this is Sean of Extra Star Wars. We are ending the show. If you did catch us from the beginning, I appreciate you. If you didn't catch the live stream, 6, 7, 8, and 9 will be sliced and diced and posted to YouTube over the next few weeks. So you'll be able to pick and choose what you want to watch and when you want to watch. You don't have to sit through the 46-minute live stream. Although I would appreciate if you did, because the more hours you watch, the better the channel does analytically, but that's okay. So at this time, we're going to close this down, but why don't you follow me over to twitch.tv/extratechie, where we will be playing some Mario Kart for like 45 minutes or so, 45 minutes to an hour, to see if the DLC has dropped just yet. So it's been real, everybody. I appreciate your time. Davey, Lizard Wizard, and all the rest, Sheev, who came in and checked us out. I appreciate you, and we'll see you next week for Weekly Comics number 6. And of course, happy St. Paddy's Day.